Meet Zephyr. Last Tuesday, he deleted all his social media apps. By Wednesday afternoon, they were all back on his phone. His brain had won, again. The same brain that swore things would be different this time. Zephyr stared at his screen, watching the apps reinstall one by one. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Each notification felt like a small defeat. He'd done this exactly 7 times before. The cycle was always the same. A moment of clarity at 2 a.m., a determined deletion spree, followed by the inevitable crawl back. And Zephyr isn't alone. Right now, millions of people are fighting the same invisible war. They're setting alarms for 5 a.m. workouts, downloading productivity apps, writing ambitious goals in fresh notebooks. Yet inside their brains, a powerful force is already working against them, a force so effective that 92% of all goals fail within weeks. And the reason has nothing to do with motivation, discipline, or willpower. Your brain has a secret agenda, and it's working day and night to keep you exactly where you are. At the start of each month, Zephyr's bank statement tells the same story. $49.99 to GymFlex, $14.99 to Focus Flow Pro, $29.99 to Mindful Planner. A digital graveyard of abandoned self-improvement attempts. He walks past that gym twice a day. Through the glass windows, he sees people transforming their lives, or at least that's what the ads promised. His gym card hasn't been scanned in 47 days. Look around. You'll see these silent battles everywhere. The dusty Peloton bikes turned clothing racks. The meditation apps sending their 5th "We miss you" email. The language learning streak's broken after day 3. The question isn't whether this will happen. The question is why it happens with such devastating consistency. Here's what neuroscience reveals. Your brain has one primary mission: keep you alive. And to your brain, being alive means being safe. Safe means familiar. Familiar means unchanged. Every time you try to build a new habit, your brain treats it like a threat. A 5 a.m. alarm? Your brain sees a survival risk. Less sleep means greater vulnerability. A new diet? Resource scarcity alert. A productivity system? Unnecessary energy expenditure. Your brain runs on a simple program. Minimize energy cost, maximize survival chance. It's why your couch feels magnetic after a long day. Why scrolling social media feels easier than reading that book. Why ordering takeout wins over cooking. Remember how dopamine works? Everyone thinks it's a pleasure chemical. Wrong. Dopamine is your brain's way of saying, stick to what works. It floods your system when you follow familiar patterns. The instant satisfaction of checking your phone? That's your brain patting itself on the back for choosing the safe option. Let's go back to Zephyr's phone. Every time he reaches to check social media, his brain runs a sophisticated sequence. First, a tiny hit of anxiety. What if you're missing something? Then, the promise of reward, just one quick scroll. Finally, the relief of giving in. This same pattern plays out in millions of variations. The midnight snack calling your name. The workout skipped for just one more episode. The project deadline was pushed back just one more day. You've heard people say, motivation is key. They're wrong. Motivation is like a match. Burns bright, dies fast. Your brain knows this. It waits out your motivation like a storm passing overhead. And your environment? It's rigged against you. Your brain has turned your space into a minefield of triggers. The phone by your bed, the snacks in your desk drawer, the comfy couch facing your television. Each one a carefully placed trap, ready to pull you back to old patterns. You might think this makes change impossible. That's exactly what your brain wants you to believe. The truth? Your brain's resistance is actually the key to breaking through. Meet Kai. 3 years ago, they tried to quit their social media addiction like everyone else, through pure willpower, failed 15 times. Then they discovered something that changed everything. Willpower isn't a muscle you can strengthen. It's a resource that depletes, and your brain knows exactly how long it needs to wait until it runs out. Kai realized fighting their brain was a losing battle, so they tried something different. Instead of working against their brain's programming, they started working with it. They turned their brain's survival instincts into their greatest ally. The results? Their screen time dropped from 6 hours to under 1 hour, without a single day of feeling deprived. And the method they used works for any habit, any goal, any change you want to make. Here's what Kai discovered. Your brain craves 3 things: safety, reward, and efficiency. Give it those, and it transforms from enemy to ally. Instead of deleting social media apps, Kai moved them to a folder inside another folder on their phone's last screen. Their brain no longer got instant rewards. The extra steps made checking social media inefficient. Within days, their brain started avoiding it automatically. The same principle works everywhere. Want to exercise more? Put your running shoes where your television remote usually sits. Your brain will pick the path of least resistance. Need to read more? Leave a book open on your pillow instead of your phone. Your brain will choose what's directly in front of it. Small changes, massive results. Because you're not fighting your brain's programming, you're reprogramming it. Remember Zephyr? He tried this approach last month. His social media time dropped by 70% in the first week. His gym card? Scanned 12 times already this month. Your brain might hate your goals, but it loves efficiency more. Use that. Start small. Rearrange your environment. Let your brain's survival instincts work for you instead of against you. Hit subscribe to learn more psychological tricks that actually work, the ones your brain doesn't want you to know about. And remember, your brain isn't your enemy. It's just running outdated software. Time for an upgrade.